on Monday, July 24th, 2023. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have 26 items on this evening's agenda, and I will ask the clerk to please read agenda item number 1.
Minutes of the City Council meeting June 26, 2023.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file.
Motion made and second to accept and place on file the minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are approved or filed 10-0. Agenda item number 2.
Now is the time for the public hearing on the petition from LightPath to install underground cable in conduit and other equipment within the public way on Cedar Hill Street near D'Angelo Drive, order number 23-100, 8925.
Okay, this public hearing we've taken up in 4 stages. First, with the public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant. Second, questions from the public. Third, public speaking in opposition. And fourth, questions from the City Council. So we'll start the first part of the public hearing with the public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant. Please come up and state your name, please.
Good evening.
Address. Thanks.
Good evening. Keenan Brin here on behalf of the applicant, Cambridge Network Solutions, LightPath. My address is 100 Apollo Drive in Chelmsford, Mass. I'm here as the agent on behalf of Network Building and Construction. Tonight we're here seeking approval for a 4-inch fiber trench at the intersection of D'Angelo Drive and Cedar Hill Road. The plans detail the actual lengths, but they're roughly 315 feet east of Cedar Hill, 140 feet west of Cedar Hill, and 181 feet south of Cedar Hill on D'Angelo Drive. So there's 3 segments to it, but it would be one project. I'm here with Jeff Harrington. He is representing the applicant and can deal with any of the technical questions you may have. But again, we're here for a trench opening for a 4-inch fiber conduit. I met with the Department of Public Works to discuss this with the engineering department. I did want to say that there is a plan over on Cedar Hill to repave that in the coming months. We're trying to get coordinated with them at this point to see that we can make sure that we're coordinated properly and we can get that done so that the paving is done after we can finish our project. Other than that, this is a pretty straightforward project in terms of what we typically do, and if you have any questions, Jeff and I would be happy to handle them.
Thanks. Does that conclude the presentation?
Yes, I'll just, for my record, Jeffrey Harrington, 120 Church Street, Wilmington, Mass. The corporate office is 100 Quannapowitt Parkway, Wakefield, Massachusetts. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Questions from the public? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Public speaking in opposition. Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Members of the public speaking in opposition. Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the city councilors. Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I really just have one question. These types of conduits are becoming very popular. Is this a conduit for utility or private use, or who's going to use the fiber when this is put down?
So excuse me. So the plan for the conduit is to house a LightPath fiber optic cable that is going to service a data center at 34 St. Martin. That's at the rear of that area.
That's in Southborough, right?
I think it's actually splits right on the line. I think there's like a small.
It's at that split.
Everything else is there, sir. So that's to deliver our facilities, but any of the enterprise services or businesses within that area will have access to it. We're not a residential provider. We're more of an enterprise commercial provider. We did try to go to the utilities to lease space on the pole line. Unfortunately, they've said the National Grid and Verizon, who are the pole owners, said the space is capped. That's why we're proposing this work. We did try to avoid that. The conduit will be there. Obviously, we're a guest, and we would make sure that that conduit is open to other people if they needed to do that. But right now, it's housed just for the fiber optic services for LightPath.
Okay, so is that when that trench and the pipe is put in, are you going to control if additional fibers go in it?
Yes, what we'll do is, and normally in the past, and I don't know how, I guess we'll work with the engineering team if we're allowed to move forward, but normally what happens is we're viewed as a lead participant, if you will, and sometimes the city may determine, hey, we want you to put in extra conduit just for the city's use that they can deem for other availability at our cost, that's fine. But usually what will happen is, whatever form of version that happens, the person that puts it in becomes the lead.
Yep.
And then when someone else wants to come in, what they'll do is they'll sort of come into a pro rata share of the conduit. If there's a maintenance or something like that, that cost gets divided up to how many people want to use it.
Okay.
The
I'm
other
thinking
part
5
is-
years plus down the road,
Yeah,
once
I
it's
mean,
in
that's-
place, like you said, the pipe, the pole is full, but the pipe is not, so they
Correct.
could put it in through the pipe.
Right, and as long as it goes to where those folks want, we will control the dig safe, meaning when someone calls in to do work, we'll make sure we mark out the dig safe.
Yep.
If there's any forced relocations, we'll be responsible for it.
Okay, but you will own the pipe at the end of the day?
That's correct.
Okay, and it's predominantly dedicated to support one of your data centers?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you for that, appreciate that.
Thank you, Council Doucette. Council Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we did receive a grant for Cedar Hill Street to repave that. So how quickly, if this is approved, how quickly can you turn around and get it done?
So we've actually met with the engineering department, which is great,
Correct.
prior to doing this. They include us in. We've already engaged our vendor to be in touch with the city's vendor. There was actually a dig safe that actually went out today on that.
Okay.
So we've already have a dig safe number in and registered. We've already walked it out. We already have the materials. So the reality is, I think the engineering department's probably sick of us trying to push it through.
No,
So if you folks can, if we do get through the process, we want to start right away.
So
But
you're
what
ready
we
to
don't
go.
want to do is, I want to make sure that we work with the road crews, because
Right.
they may have a plan to do something that we may have to offset. So our engineering team is also reaching out to them to make sure, hey, this is what we're proposing, does it work for you folks? And it does.
Right.
And then we're also making sure that we don't show up at the same area of the street.
No, right. I just want to make sure that we're not holding you up if you guys are ready to go. I mean, I represent this area, so I want to make sure that we make sure we dot our
I
i's and
think right
cross
now
our
the
t's.
coordination's
So.
been great. Obviously, we love to do it, we want to follow the process, but
Right.
as soon as, if we can get through the process, we'd be happy to start right away.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Dumas. Anyone else? Council Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you know, the process begins with Public Service Committee, and it's there now. And as soon as possible, Mr. President, we will get working on that, because it's important for you people, but also if we do a nice job resurfacing Cedar Hill, we want that to look good for at least 5 years. So, Mr. President, I will talk with Karen, and we will try to get working on that.
Thank you, Council Landers. Anyone else? Any other questions from the councilors? Questions from the councilors? Any questions from the councilors? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing and the entire public hearing, and this is in the Public Services Committee. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Thanks, Steve. Agenda item number 3.
Now is the time for the public hearing on the application for special permit from Rick Marino, trustee on behalf of Marlborough Realty Trust, to expand a pre-existing non-conforming use pursuant to City Code Chapter 650 zoning, Section 12B at 1315 Mechanic Street, order number 23-100-8926.
Again, this public hearing we've taken up in 4 stages. First, with the public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant. Second, questions from the public. Third, public speaking in opposition. And 4, questions from the city council. Due to the size of the folks in attendance, I thank you for coming out. I am going to limit conversation to 2 minutes. If you all decide you want to speak, you can do the math. So I will limit it to 2 minutes. So I ask you to be brief if you're all going to speak. And with that, I will turn it over to the applicant. So please state your name and address for the record.
Okay, good evening, members of the City Council. My name is Attorney David Click on behalf of Rick Marino of Marlborough Realty Trust. We're here as the applicant of a special permit pursuant to Article 650, Section 12B, under non-conforming uses at 1315 Mechanic Street here in Marlborough. If you may just bring up the first slide. So we just have here, just to give everyone an idea of the rendering for what we're asking for this evening. As you can see, Professional Automotive, which is at 19 Mechanic Street, is in essence seeking to expand on what its current operation is initially on an as-needed basis, but ultimately in the event that there'd be overflow, that it would essentially flow into the 1315 Mechanics Street space. But before I get to that, I know that there is a series of different plans and documents that I've submitted. Rather than going through all of those individually, I just wanted to give you just a summary of basically what we're here for. Just initially, as a history of this property, it was previously owned by a gentleman who ran Allen's Glass Works, with, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. Allen had run a business, Glassworks. As part of that, he had done auto repair. And from the materials that I had provided to the council, you can see that the city had recognized the same. You can see the assessor's office had recognized as far back as 1987 that this business was classified as auto repair. And at all relevant times leading up to August of 2022, the business was being offered or was being utilized for other uses for auto repair, i.e. for the installation of sunroofs, for windshield replacement, windshield repair to a limited degree. However, that continued on right up until the time that the ownership passed to what we come to now, which is this use also an auto repair from Professional Automotive. So the alterations that were here before the council on, essentially to the building itself, do not expand. So under 650-12B, it's either alteration, modification, expansion. There is no expansion of the actual footprint of the property. Any of the use that's going to take place within 1315 Mechanic Street garage is going to be within the garage. So we're here seeking just essentially to make some alterations to the inside of the building, namely the installation of a bathroom, the installation of 3 lifts that would help in essentially for the auto repair that I've explained in the letter that I had provided to the council today. As well as the addition of 2 side garage doors that would be facing 19 Mechanic Street, which, mind you, is this abutting property, only 17 feet away, essentially. It also would have a kind of a suspended area above for some additional space for equipment and the like, and would have an office space. So we're here because, based off of what our application is, we don't believe that pursuant to section 650-12B that there's going to be any alteration here that's substantially expanding on what was previously there because of the use that was there before. Also, pursuant to 650-12B, we're stating that allowing this special permit certainly would not result to the detriment or be substantially detrimental to the neighborhood. That's evidenced by the amount of people that are here in support of Marco Realty Trust in this expansion of their initial business at Professional Automotive, including these in upwards of 500 letters of support that come from members of the community that I've provided to the council for review at your convenience. I think one of the questions that's going to come up is with regards to traffic. I think an important point to make is just looking at what the pre-existing business model is of Professional Automotive now. I'm sure, as a lot of the customers would know, that it's discouraged for customers to actually stay on site while their car is being serviced for a litany of reasons. But what that does is helps alleviate what otherwise would be any traffic impact that would be as a result of even just Professional Automotive. Professional Automotive now services roughly about 15 cars a day. That's their maximum. It has essentially 6 lifts. The proposed alteration, as I mentioned before, is going to be 3 lifts. So there's going to be a maximum of 7 to 8 cars. You're going to see in the site plan that was provided by Dave Markedon, JD Markedon Associates, that there's going to be in upwards of 8 spaces, 7 spaces with a contemplated 8th space for handicapped, but also going to be these 3 additional spaces that are going to be where the lifts are located. So there's going to be a consistent circulation, but there's going to be, in essence, no impact on traffic as a result of this expansion from the professional automotive use to the 1315 mechanic property. So I would just state in conclusion from my half, although I know that my client, Rick Marino, would like to say something, that this is certainly within the purpose and intent of Section or Article 650, Section 12B, in that, as you can see, it's not going to result in any sort of substantial detriment to the community, and given its past history of use, as among other things, sunroof installation, which I'm sure Mr. Marino can tell you is no small exercise in order to do an installation of a sunroof, or to do a front or rear windshield of a vehicle, a truck, or what have you. So it certainly falls within this auto repair. We would simply be stating that it's not going to be a substantial expansion or deviation from what was previously there. So I'll let Mr. Marino speak if you like.
Thank you, Dave. Yep, good job. I'm going to try to read this without my glasses, so we'll see how good we do here. But maybe I'll put them on just to... It's already getting fuzzy, so... Okay. Good evening, City Council members, and thank you to all who are present tonight to support us. My name is Rick Marino, the owner and operator of Professional Automotive Service located at 19 Mechanic Street. I am also the trustee for 1315 Mechanic Street, which was the former Allen's Glass Works, acquired in August of last year. For nearly 30 years, Professional Automotive has proudly served the Marlborough community and surrounding areas. Our commitment to high standards in auto repair and our philosophy of never putting money before people has been key to our success. Over the years, we've built a loyal client base of more than 1,900 households, servicing over 3,000 vehicles annually. Our dedicated employees, some with over 25 years of service, are a testament to our commitment to quality. Our decision to purchase the adjacent property, 1315 Mechanic Street, which has been classified and taxed by the city for the past 20 years as auto repair, stemmed from 2 main reasons. Firstly, we aim to prevent the arrival of a new neighbor that could potentially be detrimental to the community and located right next to our existing establishment. Secondly, the expansion of our services is essential as our main location has outgrown its capacity since 1997. We participated in 2 Zoning Board of Appeals hearings to present our case and to protect our rights, as the city zoning commissioner had denied our permit to occupy our new property. The commissioner drafted a denial letter that appeared to take away our rights, and he did not classify our property as auto repair. 3 attorneys interpreted the document, and all 3 drew the same conclusion, that we had no choice but to appeal the commissioner's misclassification of the property to protect our rights. During the ZBA meeting, the chairman asked the commissioner if he was aware the property was classified and taxed as auto repair for the past 20 years. His response was that he had just learned of this the day before the hearing. He was then asked by the chairman what he had used for his determination in our case, and his response was that he used Facebook and talked to a few people. We have since come to an understanding that the commissioner believes a portion of the prior use was for auto repair. Now we seek permission from the City Council to expand our general automotive repair operations to our new pre-existing auto repair location. The classified use will remain the same, and the services we do there are not of a substantially different use.
There's no indication in the bylaws that suggests a substantial difference or increase of intensity of use from an auto glass replacement facility to a general automotive repair facility. Addressing concerns about an increase of intensity of use, we believe it primarily revolves around appearance. We assure you that the new facility will be substantially better in appearance and function than the previous one. As you can see, it's going to be a beautiful, addition and a complement to that important corner of Mechanic Street there. As evidence of our positive impact on downtown Marlborough, we have been drawing people to the area for years. With a consistent client base of 1,900 households, 1,050 of which are Marlborough households, and 850 households who visit downtown Marlborough for our services from surrounding areas, we are undoubtedly an asset to the community. In conclusion, our expansion plans do not involve substantial structural changes or an increase in floor space at the new building. We firmly believe we're not a detriment to the neighborhood, and there are no valid concerns regarding an increase in intensity of use between an auto glass facility and a general auto repair establishment. If such differences were significant, separate classifications and rules for auto glass replacement would be written into the city's bylaws. Thank you for your time, and we hope for your support.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Does that conclude the presentation, Rick? Or Attorney Quick?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right, so at this point, we've got a couple communications we want to take care of, so I will ask the clerk to cover the communications.
We have a communication received from a Robert Cucci of 107 Westminster Drive in support of the project. We have a communication that was received from Mr. Charles Gadbois, trustee of 277 Main Street. Would you like me to read the letter?
That one, yes.
To the council, as the owner of 277 Main Street and a neighboring property to the above, I wish to give my full support to the applicant at 13 to 15 Mechanic Street for their application before you on July 24th. I feel that continuing the existing nonconformance will have no ill effects on the area. I also feel strongly that Mr. Marino will be a very good steward of the property and neighborhood now and in the future. Please take my positive stand for approval of this application into account when you vote on this matter. I appreciate your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Charles Gadbois, trustee. And as Attorney Click mentioned, we have received, after the agenda closed, over 445 letters, which are the same. Would you like me to read one?
Read one, but they're all the same. The
These
reason
letters are all the same? No intention of reading 500 of them, sorry. I'll exceed his 2 minutes. To whom it may concern, I'm a resident of the city of Marlborough, and I'm an ongoing client of Professional Automotive, located at 19 Mechanic Street in Marlborough. I'm familiar with the building permit application recently filed by Rick Marino on behalf of the owner of the garage located next door at 13 to 15 Mechanic Street, Marco Realty Trust, requesting to install new overhead doors, new bathroom, and 3 new automotive repair lifts within the existing structure, with no further modification or alteration to the structural footprint. I understand the garage will be used for automotive repair, the same use as exists at Professional Automotive's main garage located next door at 19 Mechanic Street. I write you as a fellow resident in support of Mr. Marino's request for relief before the Zoning Board of Appeals, and further, I'm assuming they mean the City Council, and further submit that the modifications to the garage and the anticipated use of the garage at 13 to 15 Mechanic Street as an auto repair shop will not pose any detrimental or negative effects to the surrounding neighborhood or community. I ask that the Council consider my support for this appeal and grant the owner relief. Thank you.
Okay,
As I
so
said,
again,
we have 447 of those.
Okay, so now, at this point, we will continue with the public speaking in favor. Microphone is right there. If you want to form a line, or if you just want to show hands, I'm not sure what you want to do, but I do ask you to be respectful for the 2-minute time limit, and I will, again, name and address. You're on.
My name is Howard Bowles, live at 6 Stearns Road in Marlborough. My wife Lisa and I have lived in Marlborough since 1984. We have been using Professional Automotive to maintain our cars for the last 20 years. They do quality auto repair work for a reasonable price, and they conduct themselves with integrity. I mean, if your car doesn't need the work, they'll tell you so. That's integrity. They put their customers first, and it shows in the quality of their work and in their interactions with the public. When I first heard that Rick Marino wanted to expand his business and that there was an issue with getting his building permit approved by the city, I asked how I could help, so I'm here tonight. Expanding his business will allow Rick and his team to serve more customers more efficiently. Plus, it will create more jobs for Marlborough. Frankly, I'm having trouble understanding why his permit has been questioned and why he needs to go through a lengthy hearing process to get it approved. Approving this building permit should have been a slam dunk from day one. This is an excellent business that contributes to the city's tax base and is continuously trying to improve their operations so as to be able to serve the public even better than before. In my opinion, Professional Automotive is a credit to the city of Marlborough, and anything they want to do to improve how they can serve the citizens of Marlborough and the surrounding towns should be fully supported by the city. Professional Automotive is a citywide treasure that should be nurtured and supported by the public and our elected officials. I strongly urge the City Council to approve Rick's request to expand his business into the adjoining building, which is already zoned as an auto repair facility, so that he and his team can increase their capacity to serve the public in the best way they know how, with care, integrity, and professionalism. Approving this petition would be a win-win for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. I would ask, if there's future outbursts, I will ask you to leave. This is not a sporting event. I understand you all support it, but this is a city council meeting, so I ask you please be respectful. All right? Next.
Good evening, councilors. My name is Richard Gasparoni, 664 Pleasant Street, Marlborough. I got a very short statement. I'm not going to try to compete with the last one. I'd like to go on the record that I'm in favor of approving the special permit allowing Mr. Marino to expand his current automotive service center at 19 Mechanic Street to the adjacent building at 1315 Mechanic. Professional Automotive has a very successful, efficient, and clean business, and over the past few years has outgrown its current facility and needs to expand to the adjacent building in order to service its existing customer base. I've personally used Professional Automotive for all my family's automotive service needs over the past 20 years and have been very pleased with the services received, keeping my family's automotive maintenance current and safe. Professional is an asset to the city of Marlborough, servicing both resident and non-resident customers. I've also had the privilege to work with Mr. Marino as his accountant for the last 6 years, and you will not find a better business owner, a responsible, honest man who displays a high degree of integrity. I wholeheartedly endorse Mr. Marino as a business owner in the city of Marlborough. I respectfully request that the Marlborough City Council approve the applicant's request to expand his automotive business to the adjacent building. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rick. Good to see you. Next. And if I can ask anyone up top in the expensive seats, if they want to come down to speak, to file on down.
James Griffin, 7 Ellis Ave, Marlborough, proud homeowner in French Hill. And I've been honored to serve on the Board of Health for the last 11 years, which I hope shows my interest in the future of the city. Professional Automotive has been a valued part of our community for almost 30 years. And I have been a very satisfied customer for most of that time and a French Hill neighbor for 28 of those years. They sit at the corner of Mechanic and Main. This will be a focal point of our city as soon as that library opens. They have made their building an attractive addition to our French Hill neighborhood, and I now see that their new building will only add to that. Little by little, our Main Street will be improved, and this will simply be part of that improvement. As a customer, I hope they're allowed to expand their services. As a neighbor, I hope they'll be allowed to improve the look of that corner.
Thank you, Jim. Next.
Richard Jones, 55 Langelier Lane. I've been a very happy and satisfied customer of Professional Automotive for over 20 years now. And as comments have already reflected, to me, this all begins and ends with the fact that this business is the #1 asset in the Marlborough business community. It is successful, it is respected, It is high quality, and it, from my point of view, deserves the support of the entire Marlborough community, including this council, in continuing with that excellence as a shining exemplar. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Next.
Hi, my name is Stefan Lucas. I live at 133 Matheson Drive in Marlborough, and my wife made me be here tonight. I've been a resident for 26 years, so I'm close to as long as Professional Auto. Their grounds have always been tidy and well-maintained. We only buy cars that they will service, and they're an asset to a community and a reason, the kind of local business that makes Marlborough a great hometown. So I wish them support.
Thanks, Stefan. Next.
Mr. President, City Council, my name is David Danahy. I live at 508 Stowe Road in Marlborough. I've been going to Professional Auto for about 20 years. My wife has her car serviced, mine, my son's. They could not be here tonight. I agree with everything that everyone else has said, but I'd just like to add one anecdote. Rick and his staff are so honest that they actually not only repair our cars, but find ways to save us money. A year ago, my son had a problem with his Toyota. We brought it to Rick, they analyzed it, and they said it was an issue with the catalytic converter and something else. We brought it to Toyota because Rick recommended we do that because we would save money and most likely we get it done for free. We brought it to Toyota, they said that wasn't the problem. We brought it back to Rick. Rick provided us the information and the data we needed. We went back to Toyota and they repaired my son's car and saved him $2,000. It would be a shame that these folks can't expand and service not only the citizens of this city, but the communities surrounding us. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Dave. Next.
Hello, my name is Bob Cooch. I live at 107 Westminster Drive. I'm not going to repeat what everybody said, but I've been a customer for 22 years, and they have been nothing but the best. And if you look at that picture, his facility now is not an eyesore. That's beautiful. They are an asset to the city, and I hope they get the permit to do what they need to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Next.
Cynthia Brown, 2801 Parkview Lane. My husband Mark and I have been customers at Professional Automotive for well over 20 years. Our young adult sons bring their vehicles there. I have friends and neighbors who are here tonight that have also patronized their business for years. Professional Automotive, they're honest, they're knowledgeable, they're trustworthy, they're helpful, they're understanding, and they're also really kind. This is the type of local business that our city should be embracing. So we 100% support this, and we urge you to do the right thing so that these guys can continue to do what they need to do to provide the excellent service that they're known for. Thank you.
Thanks, Eddie. Next.
Hi, my name is Mark Snyder. I am 33 De Bono Drive resident. I've been in Marlborough for 53 years, and I've been with Rick and the business ever since they opened in this location, probably even before that. When you look at this picture, and I don't really want to dwell on repeating what other people have said, that looks like it's a single business. It looks like it's been a single business ever since the picture was created. So I see no reason why you can't expand it and treat it as such. When I drive down Main Street, I see what I call institutions. Rocks. Everybody thinks of that as an institution. Marlborough House of Pizza. Well, Professional Automotive is another one of those institutions and deserves every vote on the City Council. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Next.
Hi, I'm Sally Say. I live at 67 Denoncourt Street, and I live and work in Marlborough. I've been going to these guys for the last 10 years. My car, my husband's car, and now my 17-year-old daughter's car, and they take such good care of it. All I need to say is, in the words of my 87-year-old mother, who I brought to the shop the other day to pick up a car, she said, "Sally, that is the cleanest auto body shop I have ever seen anywhere. Even the bays are clean." And that's the thing. They will take very good care of Marlborough. They do Marlborough proud, and there's no way they should not get this permit to assist all of us to continue to get the good care that we get there. So thank you.
Thank you, Sally. Next.
Hi, Walt Birdsell, 59 Kingsview Road. I've been using Rick and his staff for well over 20 years. I've lived in Marlborough for 25. They're the only shop that I trust with my cars, and I have an antique car. And if I can't fix it, I bring it in there. They take their time. They do the job right. I have had many cars over the years that Rick and his staff has serviced. As you can see and everyone noticed, he has a fantastic shop, clean inside and out, more than I could say about some other shops I drive by in the area. And I think that when you look at this photo and you look at what it looks like today, this is such a massive improvement at the end of Main Street. I can't see any reason why the city council wouldn't approve Rick for what he needs to do to continue his job in a day and age where places are closing. And here you have a businessman that wants to expand in this city. It should be hands down. He should get what he needs. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Next.
Hi, James Kayazi, 61 Azalea Lane. I've been with Rick since the old location, 3 bays, so close to 30 years, my entire time in Marlborough. I echo all the statements that the community has provided so far, and I just want to give one brief example of the type of support he gives. I was working in Marlborough at the time, and I had a dental appointment in Bolton. On the way there, my radiator blew. So I called up Rick on my cell phone, and I says, "Rick, if I can limp the car in, can you get me a radiator?" And he knows the vehicles. He said yes. So I got the car in. He dropped me off. I was working in Marlborough, dropped me off at my work. He asked if I needed a ride back. I said no, I could get one from my coworkers, and the car was fixed that night. He is an example to the community, and we benefit from the service he provides. Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, James.
Next.
Good evening. My name is Rob Liu. I'm a resident of Marlborough for about 16 years, and I've been a customer of Rick's for probably the last 14 or 15 years. Now, obviously, I'm here tonight to endorse and support their application for expansion, but what I really want to say is not only do they work with you, that they try to help you to save money for your car, but there have been many times where I've been waiting in the reception and I've heard them talking to other customers, helping them how to save money or recommending them to go back to the dealership and get things done. They are honest, they're trustworthy, and they deserve to allow expansion. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob Liu. Next.
Hi, my name is Steve Zagzug. I live at 12 Ellis Ave. I actually live in the French Hill neighborhood, and I've lived here for over 20 years, and I've been going to Professional Automotive the whole time, and they're not only a great business, but they're teaching my 4 adult children how to deal with their own auto repairs. They're honest, they have integrity, and they're an asset to Marlborough, and I hope the City Council sees it the same way.
Thanks, Steve. Good to see you. Next.
Hi, I'm Harmony Larson, 173 Barnard Road. I and my husband were longtime customers. We have 2 cars that are serviced regularly. I hope this expansion is approved and that you're able to bring back the inspection sticker service. I also wanted to say that I think a point that may be missing here is that the process that businesses go through when they look to the city for these kind of approvals should feel more like a partnership, and I think that businesses should be able to expect a fair and thorough review of their applications.
Thank you.
Thanks, Harmony. Next.
Hi, I'm Kathy Godfrey, 272 Stevens Street. I've been using Professional Automotive for the 18 years that I've lived in Marlborough, and I think one of the themes, but hasn't specifically been called out, but this is a company that treats customer service in the way we all love and remember that we once had in this country, and these guys are, you know, flag bearers for that kind of customer service. And I also want to say that I hope that they will receive a fair and equitable evaluation. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. Next.
Hi, I'm Karen Bigwood. I live at 849 Boston Post Road. I've gone to Professional for about 20 years. My family, including my sister and my mother and father, have also had work done with them. These are reputable, kind, helpful business that they're just always there for you. Like, if you need help, they help. And they do tell you if you don't need to have something done right now, and you could wait, which financially is helpful. I hope that they get their new building passed, because I think we could all use that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good day.
Thank you, Karen. Next.
Hi, I'm Joe Scarpato, 902 Applebriar Lane, 83 years old, Marlborough, a Vietnam-era vet. Professional Automotive has been in Marlborough since, well, for more than 25 years, and has been of service to thousands of Marlborough residents over the years, and it's essential to people living in this area. They've done a great job keeping the vehicles of Marlborough residents working properly. I found a letter to the City Council this week in which RMA management says, among other things, allowing this pre-existing non-conforming use to expand in the neighborhood would cause our property value to be diminished due to the specific unsightly use and its non-compatibility with ours and the ongoing redevelopment changes now in process. I don't know, so if I understand it correctly, RNA is saying that the needs of Marlborough vehicle owners are far less important than their property value. I can't believe that the City Council would put the needs of one company's feeling that their property value could possibly be diminished over the needs of automobile and truck owners in the city of Marlborough. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Next.
Good evening. My name is Bill Smith. My wife Kathy and I currently reside at 16 Whispering Brook Road here in Marlborough. We've been here for about 25 years. Several years ago, we were looking for an honest and economical car repair shop. We found Professional Auto, and we've been with them ever since. We find them to be fair, equitable, honest, and dependable, actually. They actually let me use a car one day, and when I was looking at the bill, they never charged me for the use of the car that day while they were repairing my car, which is great.
That was a mistake, Bill.
So we are here, Kathy and I, to support Professional Auto in their request for a special permit for the expansion of their auto repair operations to the adjacent recently closed window screen building. Okay. I believe the expansion will increase their square footage, obviously, allowing for additional repair business to come in, which I think is absolutely necessary. And it will have, additionally, would have a potential for additional employees. So we would look forward to the request that you vote in favor of their permit request. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Next. Okay, so I got to ask 3 times.
Hello, my name is Vida Howe. I'm not living in Marlborough, but I did work in Marlborough for over 20 years, and I used Rick's services for all that entire time. Even though I no longer work here, and I keep coming back for the repairs, and my whole family comes to Rick and his team. They're great, friendly, they become friends to my whole family, and I wish them the best. I hope we will be continuing coming back.
Thanks, Ida. Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Okay, hang on, there's a race.
My name is Deborah Novicki, and I reside at 147 Colonnade Drive. I wanted to just reinforce a couple of points that I've made. I liked the cleanliness point. I'm a career toxicologist, and I like going into a place that has to deal with chemicals and oil and things like that and having it be clean, because I think about these things with impact on the city. The other thing is the fairness factor. I brought an old car, the '08 Infiniti, that I adore, and they said, nah, might not be worth doing some of the work that you think you need done. So they checked it out, and they said, it is. It's sound except for X, Y, and Z. And, you know, I was kind of stunned, because most places will just say it needs X, Y, and Z. It's going to cost you $10,000, and, you know, you either bite the bullet or you don't. The other thing is that from an aesthetic standpoint, I don't understand how the building that's like this, facing the bakery, facing the side of the existing building, is going to be impacted visually by something on the other side of it. So, you know, I'm a scientist, but I'm also a designer, and I just don't see that part of it. So I'm 100% in support of the expansion.
Thanks, Deborah. Next.
I'm Sarah Slaughterback. I live at 346 Mechanic Street, so I'm actually a neighbor. I've used Professional Auto for a number of years. I've been here for 17 years and have had excellent experience with them. I have to admit, when I first arrived and checked out Professional Auto, I was worried that it looked so good, it was going to cost a lot, and was pleasantly surprised that I've been treated fairly and would truly support the special permit. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Any other members of the public speaking in favor?
Hello, my name is John McEachran. This is my wife, Karen. We live at 314 Milham Street. We've been going to Professional Automotives now for 20 years. I'm happy to say we've raised 6 happy and healthy cars with them. I think I work in a highly regulated industry where there are a great many rules to ensure and correct behavior. But with Professional Automotives, it comes naturally. They have a great deal of integrity, and I hope that their request is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any other members of the public speaking in favor?
Good evening. My name is Mike Johnson. I live at 72 Woodridge Road, and I'm celebrating my 25th year as a Marlborough resident. This almost feels like a reunion meeting so many of their customers. I'm relatively new as a customer, but I have to say that I've been so delighted with their service and their professionalism and the quality of the presentation and the comments, which I echo. I will say that I'm a mechanical engineer by training, and so engineers tend to ask a lot of questions, and I'm no exception. And so when I go in and I say, I think something's wrong with my car, you know, I engage them in conversation. And the quality of their answers and their diagnostics makes sense. And so I can walk out the door knowing that my car is in good hands and I can trust them. And I remember years ago thinking, when I lived in a different part of the state, how comforting it is to be able to give your car key to a mechanic and have such trust in their business that it's unquestionable as to what they tell you. Not that I still don't ask questions, but, and Professional Auto, I'm happy to say, is one of those businesses where I know that I'm getting great service at a great price, and I hope that the City Council approves their special permit. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor?
I'll say one more. My name is Alice Wertheimer, 45 Lakeside Avenue. Sorry, these things. I just want to back everybody up, right? Everything they said is true. I've been their customer for at least 20 years. And they've also helped me when my car needed to go to the car graveyard, because they were honest about that. We have car people in the family, so I've learned a lot. So now instead of just going, what do they mean by that, I can have a conversation with our, because they're wonderful at educating you on what's wrong. I wish a lot of doctors would do like that. So anyway, I just really hope that you approve this permit. I'm so sorry for them that it's taken this incredible effort when they could be doing car repair. And, you know, and the other thing is, what else was going to go in that building? I mean, you know, and I would like to point out it's called Mechanic Street. It's kind of...
Thank you, Alice. Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? I got to get through this 3 times. Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. There's my notes. All right, questions from the public. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions from the public?
Thank you. My name is Steve Peck. I live at 64 Victoria Lane. I am no longer a customer of Professional Automotive, but my question has nothing to do with that. In looking at your presentation here, it's clear that you intend to improve the facades. And I'm wondering if you could possibly work with the village and match the village requirements for the village district.
So the village district would like to see a brick face front, and that is what we're planning on doing. So is that?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any chance you could also do the side of your building that faces Mechanic Street, so that as people come from the library or whatever, they don't see the white trim on the side of the building? As you face the building, it would be the left side facing Mechanic Street.
So facing the building, the left side of Mechanic Street, so not in between the 2 buildings, but on the other side?
Right.
So to answer your question is, we have a phase 2 plan of actually improving that, property over there, the Romy's Bakery. We own Romy's Bakery as well. And we have a phase 2 that we've been working on to install a retaining wall. In fact,
it sounds like you've already thought about this.
So
Thank you.
for years. In fact, that was our original intent, was to actually do an addition on that side and to improve that whole side over there, because we've been trying to buy in Allen's building for 25 years. When he decided to sell, then, you know, we had to shift our focus first over to there, because it was already a pre-existing, non-conforming auto repair building that was pretty much ready to improve upon right away. There's a lot of complications on the other side, more city council meetings. There's land court issues with the way the property lines were done. So it's a very complicated thing. But to answer your question, yes, we are definitely planning on improving that side as well.
Okay, my next question has to do, while there was auto repair being done there, a bit just on the glass.
Yep.
that is significantly different than mechanical work that might be done on lifts. And my concern is, in the event there were a fire in the far back bay, will there be fire suppression equipment or the ability for the fire trucks to get back there?
So because the building is under 6,000 square feet, you're not required to have a fire suppression system. So the answer to your question is we are not planning on installing a fire suppression system that would be so expensive that we couldn't even do our project. I kind of forgot your first part of your question.
Well, the issue being, could you make arrangements to have extra fire extinguishers?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, sure, of course we
It
could,
is an additional hazard, and being in the downtown community, I would be concerned about that.
Yeah, I really don't foresee that being a problem, yeah.
Thanks, Steve. Any other questions from the public? Any other questions from the public? Any other questions from the public? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Public speaking in opposition, I believe we have one correspondence.
We did receive one correspondence from RMA Management at 40 Mechanic Street in opposition.
Any other members of the public speaking in opposition? Members of the public speaking in opposition? Members of the public speaking in opposition? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the city councilors? Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Marino, for meeting with me early on to the process. I really appreciate that. Maybe your attorney can answer this. Are you anticipating any easement issues or needing any easements, knowing that some of these structures are closer together? I didn't know if that's something you'd be anticipating, that needing down the line a possible easement of any sort.
Not at this time, no.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Irish. Any other members? Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to everyone who came and gave their comments. I think it's a testament to your business to have so many people from the public come to one of these hearings. I don't think I can think of another business that has had that, particularly for automotive repair, to be so connected to the business and the business owner. So we're very grateful for everyone who was able to come. One of my questions is just around maybe the parking lot set up in the front. Is there an intention to get rid of that barrier in the middle and make it more cohesive, or keep them separate?
So I can answer that question pretty well. So we actually are planning. Oh yeah, sorry. So this guardrail, we're actually looking at replacing it and having more of a kind of a fancier kind of a bollard in between each parking space, and then. We're looking to have we're planning on having a 4-foot opening in this fence here with a pedestrian walkway so that you can walk from both properties. We can't take this guardrail down because there's a 100+ year right of way, a right of passage through this property for the 7-9 Mechanic Street. So this is a human error. This is an absolute necessity to prevent cars from encroaching over that line.
Okay, great. No, I really appreciate that, and I know we've spoken, and I was able to come to the property and see it, and certainly, the use of auto glass and auto repair, I mean, I don't see any distinction. It definitely seems to be very related, and we should want, business owners to be able to expand in the city of Marlborough, and certainly if, expansions like this aren't possible, we wouldn't want your business to go elsewhere. So definitely appreciate you coming before, and sorry that it had to, come to this stage, since this seems very much in line with what we would want, and a very similar use, so I don't see it being detrimental to the neighborhood at all. And I also live further up in the French Hill neighborhood. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Perlman. Councilor Orem.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening. Good evening, everyone behind my back. Glad to see a city council meeting well attended. It's really a good thing. Question, I was actually going to ask about that highway barrier type thing, but you just answered it. So how many parking spots do you have in the present facility, and how many are you planning in where Allen's Glass used to be?
Yep, so the Allen's Glass is to have 8 parking spaces, and we have 14 spaces at our main building now.
Okay, thank you. And that's sufficient? You haven't had backups into the street or anything like that?
No, we haven't.
And there's a little triangle right between the 2 buildings.
Yep.
Could that be your landscaping proposed is beautiful. Could that area be landscaped at all?
So in the plan for the Phase 2 changes, that is already that's already in our plan.
Okay.
We don't, that's because that's a different project, but that's already in the works.
Yeah, because the buildings stand out real nice with the brick, and then with the sign and brick.
Yes.
And then the flowers and bushes. It really is nice. I was thinking about the existing property. It'd be nice if it kept continuing up the street to Rami's Bakery someday, too.
That is the ultimate goal, yeah. Finances are,
I'm not asking you to do it today, but it would, even a couple of planters, just put there. I'm not trying to design it for you, but, you know.
Yes. Yeah, so.
And you mentioned Rami's, and I went by there tonight, and I saw Rami's, and I said, oh, wouldn't it be nice if this area gets improved someday? It would just add to the library and what they've done at the old post office. Is it auto mechanic that you're planning at Rami's, or?
No. So we're actually planning, I wish I knew these questions were going to come up.
I got this from Mr. Peck, so I'm sorry.
I will be happy to show you plans that we have been working on for probably 15 years. And it's all, would probably answer all of your questions. But no, we are not planning on doing anything of mechanics at Romney's. We were planning on doing an addition on that left side of the building and taking advantage of the 25% rule that's in the city bylaws of expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming building. But we no longer need to do that because we now have this other property.
Do you know how to bake? Boy, you'd have a lot of customers. What a place to wait for your car, a bakery. I hope I'm not giving away the...
No, it's okay, Councilor Holm. Yep.
And believe it or not, and I don't know, back in the mid-'70s, I was a customer of a mechanic that worked there. It used to be called Markham's Automotive.
Yep.
I don't know what year they opened,
Yep.
and then it went to Ace and Waltz.
Yep.
And so I can't remember which building I drove my old '64 Chevy van into, but I know it was one of those two. Was it the first building where Allen's Glass was, or was it where you are?
The Markham's building?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we were. Yeah, that's where we were. The building used to be out on the front on the street. In fact, 19 Mechanic Street has been an auto service location since the early 1900s. We have the Dewey family who owned that back in the 1900s. And we have photos of early Model T cars lined up on the streets. It's really cool.
Well, and
Councilor Orm, well, the history lesson's nice. It's questions on the special permit.
I know you're jealous that I had a van before you had a car. No, but one more question too, and that is, in the totality of this, the one item that will be important is how do we compare your project to others? Just so if we're going to change how we do things for one, we have to make sure how it flows well. I've heard plenty of information on it, but that's the selling point for me, is to make sure whatever I decide on will in any way affect future votes, or have we done anything different for other votes that we had. So that's what I need to understand, and obviously you're running a great business, so hopefully that's going to be definitely some points in your favor.
Right.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr.
Councilor
President.
Orm. Any other questions? Councilor Roby. Councilor Dumas.
Thank you. So owning a business, I would hope that all my clients would come up and speak on my behalf if something like this happens, so it's great to hear. So regarding the easement, the new Allen's Glass building, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Will there be offices in there, or?
No.
So all bays?
It's strictly
no payment
3
information.
service bays, and then we have an equipment storage mezzanine that we're putting in, that's in the plans. It's approximately 500 square feet, but it does not increase the floor space. It's more like it's an equipment storage mezzanine for, the things that we need to store equipment on.
So no clients will be coming in and out of that building?
No what?
Clients will be coming in and out of that building, they'll just use the main
No,
building
correct.
for payment and car
The
pickup
clients
and all
will
that
go
stuff?
to the main
To the main.
building, correct, right.
Yep. My only concern is for if you were to build the gate out that 4 feet, so pedestrians can walk through, my only concern would be like painted lines or something so people
Sure,
know
yeah.
that it is actually a
Absolutely. Yeah, and
crosswalk
speed
unofficially,
bumps
but.
too, which we don't have in the picture, but.
I'm not
we
concerned
wanna
about the speed
control
bump, I'm more
speed
just
and do
concerned
everything
that-
the right way so nobody gets hurt or
I don't
whatever.
think common knowledge would assume that it's not an easement. I think they just probably think it's your land. So I would like to see some, just from a safety standpoint.
Markings, proper markings, yeah.
Yeah, I
Keep
mean,
the
I'm
human
sure you guys
beings
thought of it, but I
focused,
just want to
yes.
make sure safety is the highest
Yeah,
importance.
that's a
but
piece of cake.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Dumas. Anyone else? Councilor Roby?
Thank you, Mr. President. So, Mr. Marino, I know I've been following this whole process as you went to site plan and then you went to the ZBA. I think that a point that has not been made was that when the City Council rezoned Marlborough Village District in 2014, we actually made auto service facilities for minor repairs non-allowed in the district. So not only is Allen's Glass not allowed, but your building and your use would not currently be allowed. Fortunately, we do have the ability to have something non-conforming, pre-existing, agreed to by the council to give a special permit. So I know that's what you're here for. You may disagree with the building commissioner's ruling, but we have to follow the rules of that. And my goal is to have a Urban Affairs Committee meeting as soon as possible. We don't meet as a council again until August 21st. So I know you're probably anxious to get this process going. I haven't heard any thing that would hopefully give me hope that this special permit would be approved, but we'll see what happens at the Urban Affairs meeting. You need to do some homework to get to the Urban Affairs, so we have the document that we need, but as soon as I have that, we can set up a meeting and we'll move forward.
So, Councilor Roby, it's to my understanding, and you can tell me differently, because I'm, all ears to that. The pre-existing non-conforming is a state law, and that's a law that's
state
within
law,
the state.
but the fact that we did the zoning is up to the City Council. So when we rezoned, we said no repairs in the Marlborough Village
Correct, and that, Councilor Roby, is one of the problems that we had with the commissioner's denial of our letter, is he was saying that his determination that that was not auto repair. And our attorneys was like, well, in the newly created Marlborough Village District, auto repair is not allowed, period. But the fact of the matter is that property has been taxed, classified for the last 20 years as auto repair. It's registered with the state as auto repair. So the state, if you look at the chapter 40,
Understood. It's really just the ZBA appeal was simply just a matter of clarifying what was otherwise, in our opinion, a misclassification.
Right, but I understand you pulled your appeal to the ZBA. You're now before us, so we can do what we need to do.
Yep.
Hopefully, it will get approved and you will be in business.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Roby. Councilor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick comment. I'm always looking at curb appeal, and that does have a lot of, I think, positive curb appeal, and I can see you expanding upon that. I got to tell you one quick story. I was walking out of church last week, and Danielle walked up Prospect Street with me, and he says, "What do you think, Councilor?" Well, I says, "Dan, go and say another prayer, and maybe everything come on all right." I happen to sit on Urban, and I'm interested to hear your presentation, but I think your people hit a lot of important points tonight. It is the type of, company or business that we want in Marlborough, and I think you would add an asset to the beginning of Mechanic Street. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Landers.
Sir.
Any other questions from the city councilors? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Not as much a question as much of a statement. I think, this part of downtown Marlborough is being revitalized. I think this is building up and making it cleaner, more effective. more presentable to the community. So I wish you guys the best of luck with this, and I think we can work through this and get this resolved. I agree with what Councilor Roby said, as much as, you know, we're following the process that we have, and you coming here is part of that process. Everyone that came here today is part of the process, and I thank you for being part of that. I've never heard the Pledge of Allegiance sound so loud in this room ever before, so thank you for that. And I do think that we'll work through this, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Giuseppe. Any other questions from the city councilors? I got to ask them 3 times, too. Any questions from the city councilors? Questions from the city councilors? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing and the entire public hearing, and this is in Urban Affairs. I'll ask for a 2-minute recess for the folks that came out tonight. Thank you very much. I know it's a summer night, you're in a hot chamber. Thank you very much for coming and expressing your views. We'll take a 2-minute recess and then start back up again. Thank you. We ask the clerk to read agenda item number 4.
Communication from Councilors Ossing and Wagner regarding municipal aggregation June 2023 update.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. What a disappointment. I thought everyone was here to hear about municipal aggregation. So, a couple of highlights from this letter that you and Councilor Wagner submitted that I think is important to point out for people at home. The Marlborough residential electricity users participating in this program have saved more than $5.1 million in the first quarter, which is the largest quarterly savings ever. The second quarter savings are estimated to be about $1.9 million due to the fact that summer and warmer weather utility rates are a little bit cheaper, so we're going to save a little bit less money, but we are still lower than the retail rate, which I think is important. The Inspire contract has saved Marlborough residential electricity users participating in this program $14.9 million since its inception in November of 2019. And the municipal aggregation program has saved all users $26.8 million since the inception of this program in 2007. The municipal aggregation program continues to save our Marlborough residents money on their electric bills, and that is all the good news. The bad news, to quote one of my favorite shows, is that winter is coming. This means that higher electricity rates are coming. It means that colder weather is coming, even though it is a very warm evening tonight. It also means that the contract is expiring. And as we have talked about time and again, we have a very, very good rate on our contract, and we will have very likely a less positive rate. We will still save people money off the retail rate, but come the new contract, it's likely that people will see an increase to their electricity bills. And I know no one likes to hear that bad news, but I think it's important to warn people for what is coming. A credit to you and Councilor Wagner and the rest of the committee on the work that is done, and I'm sure you will solidify a very competitive contract in the future. Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file.
Motion is made and seconded to accept and place on file the correspondence. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It is filed 10-0. Agenda item number 5.
Certification from Ward 4 Councilor Tiona Brown as required under Mass General Law, Chapter 39, Section 23D, regarding the application for a wireless special permit from Kristen Ledoux on behalf of Dish Wireless to install three wireless antennas and related equipment on the rooftop at 2 Mount Royal Avenue, order number 23-100, 8913.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is to certify that I've reviewed the materials regarding this matter, and I move to accept and place on file the certification.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The communication is filed 10-0. Agenda item number 6.
Certification from Ward 4 Councilor Tiona Brown is required under Mass General Law, Chapter 39, Section 23D, regarding the application of modification of special permit from Ralph Arnov on behalf of Green Gold Group, Inc. to amend the hours of operation, type of use, and to allow internally illuminated signage at the adult use marijuana retail establishment located at 910 Boston Post Road East within the Wayside District, order number 2023-100, 8062.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is also to certify that I've reviewed the materials regarding this matter, and I move to accept and place on file the certification.
Motion is made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The communication is filed 10-0. Agenda item number 7.
Communication from the mayor regarding a transfer request in the amount of $100,000 from stabilization account to a new homeless immigrant population account for emergency-related expenditures.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer to the Finance Committee, please.
Motion is made and seconded to refer to the Finance Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to Finance 10-0. Agenda item number 8.
Communication from the mayor regarding grant acceptances from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security and State 911 departments as follows, in the amount of $199,964 to be used to offset personnel overtime costs in the Public Safety Dispatching Center. B, in the amount of $37,864.18 for equipment quality assurance reviews of dispatch personnel and to offset overtime costs. And C, in the amount of $36,187.36 to be used to offset personnel training costs in the Public Safety Dispatch Center.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the grants.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the grants. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I think it's great we're getting these grants, but they're not going to be there forever. So I've already spoken to the chief of the police department and indicated in the next administrators, whoever's the next administrator is, that hopefully we'll consider making sure that that department is properly staffed for community policing and traffic control. Unfortunately, in the summer, people go on vacation and the department's limited. So again, that will be for the future, but very grateful for the grant, but I thought it'd be a good point to note it at this point. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. I will point out, as a point of information, these 3 grants we typically get every year, and this year they're $51,000 more than last year, so that's a good sign. So on the motion, it's been made and seconded to approve the grants. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Grant is approved. 10-0. Agenda item number 9.
Communication from the mayor regarding a bond request in the amount of $4,925,000 for public safety communication upgrades.
Councilor Irish.
Mr. President, motion to refer to the Finance Committee, please.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the Finance Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to Finance 10-0. Agenda item number 10.
Communication from the mayor regarding street acceptance information.
Councilor Lander.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please refer to Public Service Committee.
You want to go to the Planning Board as well?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Motion is made and seconded to go to Public Service and the Planning Board. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to Public Service and Planning Board 10-0. Agenda item number 11.
Communication from the mayor regarding acceptance of deed in lieu of foreclosure concerning parcels of land located off Mosher Lane, identified as map 10, parcel 41, excuse me, map 10, parcel 82, and map 11, parcels 3 and 40.
you want to take this in L&L?
Thank you, Mr. President. Refer to Legislative and Legal Committee.
Motion made and seconded, refer to the Legislative and Legal Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to L&L, 10-0. Agenda item number 12.
Communication from the mayor regarding proposed amendment to City Code Chapter 125 Personnel, Section 6, Salary Schedule, and a proposed job description pursuant to Chapter 125 Personnel, Section 5, Preparation of Classification Descriptions, to create a new position of Special Traffic Constable within the Police Department.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer to the Finance Committee and to advertise.
Motion made and seconded, refer to the Finance Committee and to advertise. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just had a question, which maybe it can be just for committee, but around how the expenses regarding training or equipment are to be incurred by the constable. I just thought that was an interesting note and that it wasn't something that we would be covering. So I just wanted maybe to get an answer to that in committee, why that distinction was made.
Yeah, we can have the chief explain that.
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you. I just imagine it could be hard to get people to fill the position if they're also having to incur costs.
Yep.
Thank you.
On the motion to refer to finance and to advertise, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to finance, 10-0, and to advertise. Agenda item 13.
Communication from the mayor regarding proposed amendments to the City Code, Chapter 125 Personnel, Section 6, Salary Schedule, and proposed job descriptions pursuant to Chapter 125 Personnel, Section 5, Preparation of Classification Descriptions, relative to positions for the Public Library, Assessor's Office, and Public Facilities.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer to the Finance Committee, please.
Motion made and seconded, refer to the Finance Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to Finance, 10-0. Agenda item 14.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding petition from Andrew Deli Carpini on behalf of Cobia Enterprises LLC for hours of operation of a gas station, the Shell station at 342 Boston Post Road East, pursuant to Chapter 342 of the Code in proper legal form, order number 23-100, 8870.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to accept and place on file the communication from the solicitor and to refer the document down to reports.
Motion made and seconded, refer the document down to reports and accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to reports and file, 10-0. Agenda item 15.
Communication from Assistant City Solicitor Jeremy McManus regarding application for a wireless special permit from Kristen Ledoux on behalf of Dish Wireless to install 3 wireless antennas and related equipment on the rooftop of 2 Mount Royal Avenue in proper legal form, order number 23-100, 8913.
Councilor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please move it down to reports.
Motion made and seconded to move this item down to the reports of committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's being moved to reports of committees, 10-0. Agenda item 16.
Communication from Attorney Sam Akanian on behalf of SUCIU LLC, DBA Excella Storage, regarding a request to extend time limitations until 10 p.m. on December 31st, 2023, on the application for a special permit to add additional storage units to a non-conforming storage facility located at 846 Boston Post Road East within the Wayside District, order number 23-100, 8823B.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Do we need to vote on this, or can I just accept and place on file?
Well, we just got to vote to approve
Move to approve the extension until December 31st.
Motion's made and seconded to extend the extension to December 31st, and I'll sign it. I'm sure the clerk has it here for me. Any discussion on the extension request to December 31st? All those in favor? Opposed? It is extended to December 31st, 10-0. Agenda item 17.
Application for a special permit from George Voyatsis to convert an existing building into a multifamily residential building consisting of 17 residential units in the neighborhood business district at 358 Lincoln Street.
No? I thought there would have to be a recusal, but maybe I'm wrong.
Nope.
Move to refer this to Urban Affairs, set a public hearing for August 21st, and advertise.
Motion made and seconded to refer to Urban Affairs. We'll set a public hearing for August 21st and to advertise. Any discussion on the motion? Is good? All those in favor? Opposed? It is going to Urban with a public hearing August 21st and to advertise. 10-0. Agenda item number 18.
Petition from Massachusetts Electric and Verizon New England to install 2 new joint poles, pole 2225 and 2226 on Forest Street approximately 1,500 feet east of the center line of the intersection of Forest Street and Sandini Road to serve a new building at 201 Forest Street.
Councilor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please refer to Public Service Committee.
And to set a public hearing for the 21st?
Oh, that would be good.
Motion made and seconded to refer to Public Service. We'll set a public hearing for August 21st and advertise. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to Public Service with a public hearing August 21st and advertise. Agenda item 19.
Communication from Attorney Gemma Cashman on behalf of Tremel Crow Company regarding proposed amendment to City Code Chapter 650 zoning by adding a new section to create the Sassaville Way Residential Overlay District.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to refer this to Urban Affairs and the Planning Board to set a public hearing for September 11th and to advertise.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the Urban Affairs Committees and the Planning Board. We'll set a public hearing for September 11th and to advertise. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? It is going to Urban, the Planning Board, with a public hearing on September 11th and to advertise 10-0. Agenda item number 20.
Communication from the Mass Department of Public Utilities regarding a petition of Mass Electric and Nantucket Electric, DBA National Grid, for approval of a midterm modification to its 2022 to 2024 three-year energy efficiency plan.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication.
Motion's made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The communication is filed. 10-0. 21.
Minutes of boards, commissions, and committees.
Mr. President.
Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file the minutes of the boards, commissions, and committees.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file all the minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are filed. 10-0. Agenda item 22.
Claims.
Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please refer the claims to the legal department.
Motion made and seconded to refer the claims to the legal department. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to legal. 10-0. Reports of committee. We'll start with public service.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's a good one to start with. Mine is quite short compared to others that we have. Okay, Public Service Committee did meet on July 17th. We took up 3 items. First item was order number 2310088842, and that was the application to renew the junk dealer's license from Best Buy. Fortunately or unfortunately, the gentleman did not show, so this particular renewal will be postponed in committee until the applicant is present. The next item we took up was order number 2310088924, application for a taxi license from Tim Ending Premium Care Plus to operate a livery service with his vehicle at 67 Forest Street. The application for the license for Platinum Care Plus was reviewed by the committee. The chair noted that the query check was complete with no issues. On a motion by Councilor Irish, second by the chair, the Platinum Care Plus delivery license was approved 3-0. The third item we took up was order number 2310088913, and this was the application by Kristen Ledoux on behalf of Dish Wireless to install 3 wireless antennas and related equipment on the rooftop at 2 Mount Royal. The committee reviewed the special permit application for the installation of 3 wireless antennas and related equipment at 2 Royal. Councilor Brown informed the committee that she reviewed the information related to the order and completed the required documents to participate. The chair reviewed the conditions in the special permit. Motion by Councilor Irish, second by Councilor Brown to approve the special permit. Vote 3-0. The committee agreed to have the solicitor place the special permit in proper format for the July 24th meeting, which is tonight. The council, Mr. President, also are asking for a suspension of the rules that we can vote on this tonight.
Chair has asked for suspension of the rules. All those in favor of the suspension? Opposed? Suspension is approved, 10-0. Mr. Chair?
Okay, so my motion would be tonight to approve this special permit for the dishes.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the special permit. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to read the conditions.
The City Council, pursuant to its authority under Mass General Law, Chapter 48 of the City of Marlborough zoning ordinance, grants to the applicant a special permit for the construction of the use, a wireless communications facility on the existing monopole, subject to the following conditions, which conditions shall be binding on the applicant, its successors, and/or assigns. 1, construction in accordance with applicable laws. Construction of all structures on the site is to be in accordance with all applicable building codes and zoning regulations in effect in the City of Marlborough and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and shall be built according to the plans as may be amended during site plan review. 2, site plan review. The issuance of the special permit is further subject to detailed site plan review by the Site Plan Review Committee in accordance with the City of Marlborough Site Plan Review Ordinance prior to the issuance of the building permit. Any additional changes, alterations, modifications, or amendments as required during the process of site plan review shall be further conditions attached to the building permit, and no occupancy permit shall be issued until the applicant has complied with all the conditions. Subsequent site plan review shall be consistent with the conditions of this special permit and the plan submitted, reviewed, and approved by the City Council as a special permit granting authority. 3, incorporation of submissions. All plans, photo renderings, site evaluations, briefs, and other documentation provided by the applicant as part of the application and as amended or reviewed during the application hearing process before the City Council and/or the City Council's Public Services Committee are herein incorporated into and become part of this special permit and become conditions and requirements of the same unless otherwise altered by the City Council. 4, compliance with applicable laws. The applicant, its successors, and/or assigns agrees to comply with all municipal, state, and federal rules, regulations, and ordinances as they may apply to the construction, maintenance, and operation of the use. 5, all work performed on the site shall comply with this decision. No other building or construction or activity, including but not limited to any other communications device, WCF tower, etc., shall occur without further modification of this special permit. This condition shall be interpreted consistent with the federal law governing WCFs. 6, no signage or advertising of any sort shall be permitted as part of the use. 7, the applicant shall comply with all applicable conditions of the 4 WCFs as set forth in Section 650.25F, each of which shall constitute conditions of this special permit. And 8, in accordance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, Section 11, the applicant, its successors, and/or assigns at its expense shall record this special permit in the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds after the city clerk has certified that the 20-day period for appealing this special permit has elapsed with no appeal having been filed and before the applicant has applied to the building commissioner for a building permit. Upon recording, the applicant shall forthwith provide a copy of the recorded special permit to the City Council Office, the Building Department, and the City Solicitor's Office.
You've heard the conditions. Are there any further discussion on the special permit? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you for the eloquent speech, sir. But as we're going through site plan review, there's one line that kind of quirked me. In Section 2, or Item 2, let's see, as required during the process of site plan review, shall further conditions attached to the building permit. Then there's, and no occupancy permit shall be issued until the applicant has complied with all conditions. This is an occupied building already, and what they're doing has nothing to do with occupancy. So
I can check with the legal department. This was furnished by the assistant solicitor in proper form.
Yeah, you understand my concern.
I will be happy to check.
Okay, I'm apologizing to the guys to do this, you know, but I would like to get that clarified.
We're going to vote on it. You can
We can
abstain
vote on
if you'd like, but your point's been recognized. If it's a challenge, I'm sure that's a Scrivener's error and it'll be taken care of.
In which case, then, I'm perfectly fine with that if it's acknowledged as a Scrivener error.
That is correct.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Any other comments or questions from the council? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilor Oram.
Yes.
Councilor Wagner is absent. Councilor Ossing.
Yes.
Councilor Navin.
Yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Yes.
Councilor Irish.
Yes.
Councilor Landers.
Yes.
Councilor Perlman.
Yes.
Councilor Brown.
Yes.
And Councilor Roby.
Yes.
10 yea, one absent, sir.
The special permit is approved, 10 in favor, 1 absent, and we will check to see with the solicitor on the Scrivener's error with the item on the no occupancy permit shall be issued.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Reports. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. So unfortunately, mine will not be short, but I will try to make it as short as possible. I have 3 meetings to report out. The first one was on Monday, July 10th. where we took up 2 orders. Order number 23-100-8870, which is a petition from Deli Carpini on behalf of Colbia Enterprises LLC to operate a gas station convenience store at 342 Boston Post Road East on a 24-hour basis pursuant to Chapter 342 of the Code of the City of Marlborough. The chair reviewed the fact that we had given another gas station requesting 24-hour operation and gave them permission to operate 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Committee members did not seem to support the 24-hour operation, but was supportive of the same approval. Councilor Doucette moved to approve allowing the gas station to operate 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. for 1 year. The chair read through the conditions of the order, and Attorney Hall had no issues. Councilor Doucette amended the motion to include the conditions in this order, and the motion was seconded and carried 5-0. I did ask, and it is on tonight's agenda in proper form, I will ask for suspension to approve that. I don't know if you want to take the suspensions one at a time, get through it all and go backwards.
Yeah, well, if you don't mind, we'll take them as they come up. That way it'll be easier, it's fresh on everyone's mind.
Okay.
Chair's asked for suspension of the rules for order number 8870. All those in favor of the suspension? Opposed? Suspension is approved, 10-0. Councilor Roby.
So move the recommendation of committee to approve.
Been motion made and seconded to move the recommendation of the committee, which is to approve the hour extension from 5 to 11 a.m. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved, 10-0.
The next item we took up was order number 23-100-721F, a proposed ordinance amendments to Chapter 650 zoning relative to certain provisions concerning mixed use and affordable housing. So I reminded the committee this was a continued discussion from June 14th, which was continued from multiple prior discussions. Everyone received the 6-page document along with 2 additional 2-page document from me and 2-page document from President Ossing. I began reviewing the document, amending many sections. We started by adding a new definition for area media income. We amended by adding a definition of mixed use, or amended the definition of mixed use. We amended the table of use regulations 650-17. After a lot of discussion, it was agreed the amendment to strike the last sentence of 650-18, the conditions for uses in multiple dwelling, was in error. We discussed Chapter 650-26, affordable housing, and agreed to make amendments. Because we have had mixed use in Marlborough Village, it's by special permit, it was agreed to amend part of that. The original order that was vetoed by the mayor, we all agreed to change the affordable housing from 20 to 8, and then agreed to go through some of the changes of how much affordable and at what AMI they would have. It was agreed to strike the proposed adding in new language regarding site plan review, and it was agreed to go back to the guidelines will complement the design standards. We stopped discussion for the night and continued with parking and heights on Tuesday. So Tuesday, sorry, that was Monday. I got another error that got missed. It's Tuesday, July 11th. Urban Affairs and Housing Committee member. We took up two, I lost track here. The first order that we took up was order number 23-100-8890, application for a special permit from Andy Fitz on behalf of JP Morgan Chase Bank to install a drive-through ATM for the Chase Bank branch to be located at 189 Boston Post Road West. Present for this applicant was Joshua Klein from Stonefield Engineering. So the committee members had received a draft decision. I read through everything. There were several in there that I wasn't sure that they actually fit, so we were leaving that up to the city solicitor. Councilor Doucette moved to recommend approval of the decision on the special permit with amendment to condition 8 and the solicitor reviewing the other conditions. The motion was seconded and carried 5-0. This evening, I'm asking for a suspension so that this can be referred to the solicitor in proper form on our August 21st meeting.
Chair has asked for suspension of the rules. All those in favor of the suspension? Opposed? Suspension carries 10-0. Councilor Roby.
So move this document move to refer the document to the solicitor to be put in proper form for the August 21st meeting.
Motion made and seconded to refer the document to the city solicitor, put in proper format for our August 21st meeting. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It is approved to go to the solicitor, 10-0. Councilor Roby.
The next item was order number 23-100-8889, referencing 20-100-79488, a communication from Attorney Falk with the application to amend an electronic sign permit to add non-EMC panels to the existing freestanding sign at 431 Lincoln Street. The sign panels on both faces of the existing sign will advertise food options within the Shell Station convenience store. Present for this application were both Attorney Falk and the station owner, William Camuso. The councilors were sent a draft decision on the amended LED special permit. There was discussion. Councilor Doucette moved to approve the amended decision on an LED sign special permit with the attachment A showing the current digital display sign and attachment B showing the image of Corrine's Pizza and Deli. The motion was seconded and approved 4-1 with the chair voting no. Again, I'm requesting a suspension to have this referred to the solicitor to be put in proper form for the August 21st agenda.
Request by the Urban Affairs Chair to suspend the rules. All those in favor of the suspension? Opposed? Suspension is approved, 10-0. Councilor Roby.
I move to refer this to the solicitor to be put in proper form for August 21st.
Motion made and seconded to refer this to the solicitor, put in proper format for our August 21st meeting. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carries. It's going to the solicitor to be put in proper form for our August 21st meeting, 10-0. Councilor Roby.
The next item on the agenda was order number 23-100-8721F, continued discussion on the proposed ordinance amendments to Chapter 650 zoning relative to certain provisions concerning mixed use and affordable housing. The councilors were given a print copy of the multifamily development review criteria and design guidelines, as well as design review guidelines for the Marlborough Village District. The chair read through comments that we received from the solicitor as he wasn't able to attend the meeting. Councilor Doucette brought up an issue on one of the pages of the design review guideline, and it was agreed that we would add a new section 650-33 to amend the language that was there after looking for comments on how to do that from the city engineer. We began discussion on parking, what parking can be counted, with the thought it should only be overnight parking. We agreed to make amendments to that language. We went back and forth on parking in lieu, what the payment should be, what payment is used for, one time versus yearly, how much building a garage costs, and where to put a new garage, finally agreeing to make amendments on parking in lieu. After the meeting, another meeting was set for Monday, July 17th to continue discussion on heights of structures and do a final review of the changes. I'm not reporting that we adjourned, but I think that's in the minutes and probably not really relevant. So on Monday, July 17th, we took up order number 23-100-8721F, the proposed ordinance amendments to Chapter 650 zoning relative to certain provisions concerning mixed use and affordable housing. We started with everybody with a clean copy of the draft amendments with changes made during the prior two meetings incorporated. They received comments on the new edition of 650-34 design standards, external materials and appearance, provided by Mr. Larry Reeves, who was a local architect that was involved in drafting these regulations. So we went through changes that would work for 650-17 table of use regulations. We moved back to having hotels be by special permit. The discussion was held on suggested changes to the external materials. We agreed on language for that. Discussion began on heights of structures. It was agreed to amend, and there are 4 bullets delineating what those amendments were. The chair stated she would like to be able to report out all the meetings at tonight's meeting and ask for suspension to refer the final draft to the solicitor to be put in proper form. The document would then be referred to the planning board, who would have to advertise, hold a public hearing, and the council would also set a date for a public hearing. Councilor Doucette preferred to hold another committee meeting to go over the final draft. Because the committee can't meet before July 24th, it was pointed out that holding another meeting would delay the final draft being reported out. Councilor Navin moved to recommend approval of the draft as amended during the 3 committee meetings. It was seconded and carried 4-1 with Councilor Doucette voting no. The chair will send copies of the final draft along with the minutes to all the councilors. They received those. I did receive 2 what I would call Scrivener errors. One thought was changed to thou was changed to thought, and the number of the order was corrected. I did realize that there was one thing that got missed, so I do have on everybody's desks, and this was emailed, in reviewing my draft to be referred to the solicitor. I realized when we discussed hotels in Marlborough Village and made them by special permit, we should have also amended Chapter 650-18 conditions for uses, where it currently reads they are by right, and it would then read Marlborough hotels within Marlborough Village District are by special permit and also subject to site plan approval. So if there is consensus from this body to add that piece to the draft, I would again suspend the rules to refer the draft to the solicitor to be put in proper form.
Okay, so let's start with the suspension. The chairs have requested suspension of the rules. All those in favor of the suspension? Opposed? Suspension carries. So you now have before you an order that you want to send to the solicitor, put in proper format, but you want to make a change that you want to have the council acknowledge or agree to or discuss, I guess, at this point.
Correct.
So the councilors, you have the proposed amendment to the proposed zoning ordinance in front of you. Is there anybody have any heartburn with it or any discussion? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I got the amendment, but I haven't seen hard copies in my mailbox, and I don't notice it electronically, copies of the final draft as it currently stands. So
I thought they were sent to everybody. Is that not?
Yeah, they will.
Where are they?
I mean, I've got them. I think everybody.
I don't have a copy. I don't have that paper. Let me put it that way.
Okay. If they were with the minutes that were I left, were they in everybody's mailbox, Karen? Electronically.
And I
but
don't
did they
print,
show up in hard copies in their mailbox? Question. No. So no, you have it electronically, not in hard print.
Okay, I was looking to electronic. I didn't notice in electronic. I mean, the reason my concern basically is there's a lot of moving parts in this, and I wanted to see a clean draft. That was my only concern. So before it goes to the solicitor, or actually before it came to the city council meeting, not necessarily getting the solicitor proposed early. But I'll look through that, and I'll support this change.
Any other comments from the councilors? Seeing none. Councilor Roby.
So I'm going to move to refer the draft document with the amendment read this evening to the solicitor to be put in proper form for the August 21st agenda.
Motion made and seconded to send the work of the Urban Affairs Committee to the solicitor to be put in proper format where we will have another opportunity to look at it. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to the solicitor by a vote of 10-0 to be placed in proper format for our August 21st meeting. Thank you, Councilor Roby. Are there any other reports of committees or announcements? Hearing none. We will move on. 23.
Order number 23-100-8883, the appointment of Robert Bourne III as plumbing and gas inspector for a 3-year term from date of City Council confirmation pursuant to City Code, Chapter 7, Section 79.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to approve.
Motion made and second to approve the appointment. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Appointment's approved, 10-0. Agenda item number 24.
Order number 23-100-8884, the appointment of John Kane as wiring inspector for a 3-year term from the date of council confirmation pursuant to City Code, Chapter 473, Section 1. Recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to approve.
Motion made and second to approve the appointment. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The appointment is approved, 10-0. Agenda item number 25.
Order number 23-100-8885, the appointment of Patrick Hughes to the Planning Board for a 5-year term to expire on February 1st, 2028. Recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to approve.
Motion made and second to approve the appointment. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It is approved, 10-0. Agenda item number 26.
Order number 23-100-8900, the appointment of Jonathan Friedman to the Commission on Disabilities for a 3-year term from the date of City Council confirmation. Recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to approve.
Motion made and second to approve the appointment. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The appointment is approved, 10-0. Councilor Dumas.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made and second to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned at 9:50. Thank you, everyone.